One.
Welcome to Wayne's World and Kelly video podcast. Our special guest today is Melissa Ramsey, Vice President of Community Association Management Operations at Evergreen Lifestyles Management. Welcome to the show, Melissa. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. It was my pleasure to actually introduce myself to you at CAI National as a LinkedIn superstar. I've been following you for a while and really appreciate all the good work that you do out in our industry. And I'd like to start off with you've been in the community association management industry for quite a while. You worked at First Service Residential in Nevada. Tell us a little bit about the experiences that you've had prior to your arrival at Evergreen.
I like to say that I started on the fun side of the business, in that I actually was a lifeguard, and that's how I fell into the role of association management. So planning events, doing the fun, teaching swim lessons, all of the good stuff.
Sort of a deep dive.
You get the positive vibes, you get the happy people, not as many complaints. So that's how I ended up in Nevada, is a position opened up there. And so started managing an association and was kind of perplexed at the complexities of an association. Like, what is this? Why are we doing this? I don't quite understand. So I started asking a lot of questions. And that's how I ended up getting involved with CAI and got my license, became a community manager in Nevada. And similar to Florida and California, heavily regulated. And so looking back now, that's kind of nice to have regulations, but it also is overwhelming at the time because there's so many restrictions on what you can and cannot do. But I liked it. Every day was a challenge. Never wanted a desk job. Did not have that. You're either walking the landscaping, trying to figure out what tree is dead, or you're out on a pool deck because someone's drinking alcohol by the pool. So it's different every day, which I enjoy. But I wanted to come back home, so came back to the Carolinas, and ended up last year joining Evergreen, and through that process became more and more involved with CAI on a national level, and had the privilege of being chair of the Managers Council, which enabled me to share my passion around the wellness piece of what we do, and that we as managers take on a lot, and it's easy to kind of hunker down and hide and eat all the chocolate as you get stressed out with the crazies, but trying to control your mindset.
So did you find a lot of vendors were bringing you a lot of chocolate, a lot of adult beverages, anything to get your attention?
The holidays were fascinating.
Oh yeah, it's like
oh, I've never eaten so many bundt cakes in the month of December as I did in Nevada. Yeah.
So the interest in wellness, was that something that you had a passion for prior to COVID?
Yes. So actually my daughter kind of influenced a shift for me. We used to have Pajama Sunday, and it became a thing, and I didn't even realize it, but the week just exhausted me to where Sunday was pajama day. And she got so proud about the fact that we would have these lazy binge watching, snack all day days. And I'm like, what am I doing? This is wrong. Like, this is not the example I want to set. So it was a shift for me to say, I don't want this for myself. I don't want to escape in this mindset. So I had a shift in that, no, I want to get back to working out, having that time for myself, and being healthier, getting out and doing things, experiencing the world around us, and not just kind of hiding.
Okay. And then
how old's your daughter?
She's 12.
And how old was she when you decided to make that change?
She was 2 and 3 years old. So
Wow.
It's been a journey. Yes.
Kids can inspire us, hopefully, to become better people. And,
absolutely.
I think I actually mentioned on a show that I think it never made it to the public, that I was the youngest of 9. And I remember asking my dad, why are you so perfect? He says, because I got 20 eyes constantly watching me. And it ups your game,
Mm-hmm.
So I always thought if I could play in a golf tournament where people were watching, that maybe I could actually have a good round of golf. But kids are great for that, and a lot of other reasons too.
Absolutely.
Good. Wayne had a serious question.
Yeah,
I like
really
to take him off his game as much as I can.
So then COVID hits, and everybody's world is turned upside down. So we'll go right to the wellness factor of that's a passion of yours, probably a really good opportunity to maybe institute some of your interests in your company to keep people on track as the world turned upside down, and to a lot of degree it still is. Tell me what you did.
So it was kind of a twofold approach. So I was at an on-site property at the time when everything shut down. And it was figuring out, when you're on site, you're used to the face-to-face interactions, and you show up, you dress the part, you put the smile on, and all of a sudden when you don't have those interactions, you don't have everyone around you, it's quick reaction to dress like a bum some days. You're not necessarily doing your hair, you're pulling it back. You're just seeing the same faces, and you get very casual. And the next thing you know, you are snacking on, whatever goodies people brought in. And, you're sitting because you're not getting up and going to the event that's happening down the hallway. You're not meeting with vendors and walking the property. So it became kind of a desk job that I didn't ever want to have. And you got into a routine. And so with CAI, it was, what are managers facing? Well, we're facing this whole new world where we're isolated and we're not doing different things. And so not just the team I had at the time, but also with this national CAI network of people, it was, wait a minute, let me change the conversation. Let me see if I can drive a different mindset to it. And so starting to be mindful of what we're doing. And we implemented the dress code again at the property to say, wait a minute, let's still show up for ourselves and look somewhat presentable. But
no
then
it was no more PJs.
Nice jeans are acceptable, but at least, no PJs and slippers. But
right.
And that's where on LinkedIn I started the Wellness Wednesday. And so I've been going strong. I almost forgot it one Wednesday a couple weeks ago, but just it's a nice reset and reminder for myself just as much as anyone else that's reading it. And so that was kind of the approach I wanted to take, is I'm doing it just as much for me as hopefully anyone else around me.
So tell me what the Wellness Wednesday entails. The exercises, the videos, the dancing. I've seen a lot of that you posted. It's very inspirational to me. But someone's got to do, explain that to us.
So Wellness Wednesday was kind of part of my role on Managers Council with CAI, was a means to get more information out to managers on different ways, both mentally and physically, that you can control how you're approaching your day. Unfortunately, COVID brought about a very negative response industry-wide. I've never seen owners so mean, to put it nicely. But people just got angry and nasty in how they, were attacking you. And so trying to look at it as, I can't control them, but I'm gonna do my best to control me and my thoughts. So Wellness Wednesday was kind of a reminder where, I posted something on LinkedIn where whether it was a physical tip, nutritional, mindfulness, just something to put out there that hopefully you could pause when reading to go, okay, let me try that. Or, hey, that's a great reminder. Or in some cases, I've had people tell me they just laugh sometimes at what it is. So that moment of laughter where it changes, the vibe of it. The dancing is just one of those where just the goofiness, you can't help but when you see someone, listen to music or dance, but just smile and laugh. And that moment of just happiness can influence the next couple of hours of your day. So whether it's with, my team on site, or I've been in company meetings and you play that song and you're just, acting silly and it just creates that vibe that leads to more positivity. And when you're in such a negative space, positivity goes a long way.
So what kind of
I want to ask her a technical question. I'm not going to back off.
I'm going to ask this one first. So you tell me, Melissa and Kelly, what kind of a vibe does this give right now? So like, how am I doing?
You're doing great.
Okay.
You brought smiles to both of us. That's a win. Like that's
we made a commitment that we would not edit anything on our show. And this is the first time I'm regretting it.
That was like the Elaine from Seinfeld dance. So I'm sorry to interrupt you, bro.
It wasn't that. I love that episode, but it was just Seinfeld really dialed into to people that we all know. And I know a few people, I'm sure people make fun of the way I dance and I don't care, but there's some people I'm like, wow, they really shouldn't be doing that. They're like Elaine from Seinfeld.
Just like I
want to ask a serious question because I want to turn it a little bit. Did you find that when you played music, that when it was Beatles music, people were much happier than if it was the Stones?
She's young. She doesn't even know who the Beatles are, dude.
Come on.
So
everybody knows.
I do know the Beatles.
I know. I'm just
So interesting enough, everyone has a song, and that's something that I encourage people to have. Whatever that song is that instantly changes kind of their thought process, have it readily available, like it, do that sort of thing. So most people have an assumption, you look at someone and you think this is their music style. So most people would think, I've had people tell me, you probably listen to classical music, or, you like, classic pop or country, which I do like country. But actually through COVID, there were more days than not where in order to get me pumped and ready for the day, I'm not going to lie, West Coast classic rap was my Spotify song choice.
I'm way too old to know what she's talking about.
No, I actually do. So was it, do you like the song? Is it Dr. Dre? California. Yep. No doubt about, right? Do you like that one?
So the Super Bowl halftime routine, that was like the epic, like highlight for me. I was just like, yes, this is all things positive.
Right. Good for you. Kelly, what's your go-to song? I'm sure it's the Beatles.
Well, you know what? It isn't.
He's finding it right now.
Right.
Rolling Stones, Start Me Up.
No, boring.
Great way to get people pumped up. I did that for my Stones friends because I'm such a huge Beatles fan. But I mean, they actually have some really good motivational songs. Both bands do, but the Stones really have some really good stuff to get people fired up. I think music is a great way to inspire people. I always say I don't have bad days. I'll have bad moments. And then it's incumbent on me to turn that moment around. And one of the best ways to do it is through music. I mean, it just gets you pumped up. You go to any good event, if they have somebody pumping in some good music, it makes a difference. Nationals, remember when the Washington Nationals were a great team? another one of my things that I'm very sad about now. Each time the baseball player gets up, they get to do, when they're about getting up to bat, they get to do their song. And it gets the whole crowd going. And it's just, I just love mindset changing. And I think music and exercise are two great ways to do it. I gained 20 pounds over COVID. And there was no reason. I'm living in Florida, but I just allowed it to happen because we sort of had an excuse. We had an excuse to stay away from people. Now, I will admittedly, I hardly slowed down. I went out and bought 1,000 masks for $1,000, where I could have bought them 2 weeks before COVID for 5 cents a piece. I mean, it's true. I mean, people that made money off COVID was insane. So I went and bought 1,000, and I stuck them in. I put on rubber gloves, and then I stuck them in a little bag, Ziploc baggies, and I would go to the gatekeepers at these condominiums that are my clients, and I'd say, I'm here to deliver masks, and they'd let me in. But I did still, I still gained my 20 pounds. So I did something called, what was it called? 75
hard. Yep.
Hard. Yeah, 75 hard. And I dropped 20 pounds doing that. It was fun to do. And I did it on social media. Every once in a while I would throw it up on either LinkedIn or on Facebook. And I did it to motivate other people to do it. And that sounds like what you're doing is, you're not doing it for you, you're doing it for other people. And that's what I thought it was great when I was hearing your story from Wayne.
And it's, I mean, to your point, music is something where you're sitting at your desk, you're in your car, easy to do. But the movement piece is something that it was lost because you weren't having those interactions. So you stopped moving. And so in 2020, decided I was going to do Sunday Run Day. And my goal was to run 30 Sundays during the year. So I hit that goal. So 2021, it was, okay, I'm going to run 42 of the 52 Sundays.
Awesome.
And so I would hit that, but it was one of those where I don't consider myself a runner, but running, listening to music, just kind of having the time for your thoughts was so therapeutic. And so this year I decided I needed to change up the challenge a little bit. It's amazing how when you try and target running on just one day, how it kind of gets a little overwhelming, even though it shouldn't. So this year it's running twice a week, at least 2.2 miles. So 22 each week. So that's kind of been my movement target that I've been working towards. And I have some people that, through social media have joined me in their efforts, and we hold each other accountable, and, we're halfway through the year. So it is the music and the movement, and just how do you control your mindset to tackle this crazy world that we're in.
I love the accountability concept. Part of my accountability, although I had a bunch of people join in at the beginning, and I pretty much nobody made it with me. But and they'd apologize to me, but it made me accountable because I was using social media and using my friends. But I was also like, but some of them still had success, even though if you do the 75 hard rules by the rule book, it's tough. I'm not a drinker, but it's no alcohol. And it was even weird. I mean, every once in a while I like to have a beer, and I couldn't for 75 days. I can't imagine for, someone, like Wayne that really enjoys their adult bitters. But
what? No, dude. I know. I know.
I'm kidding. He's so sensitive. He's a very sensitive guy. But but we had for the 75 hard, you had to work out twice a day for 45 minutes separate. And we get rain in Southern Florida. I've never said Southern Florida in my life. It's because you said South Carolina. I'm changing the words. In South Florida. But so sometimes I'd go out for 45 minutes in the pouring rain, and I'm out there walking. And but when you make that commitment, you're going to be accountable to do that. It makes a big plus. So how hard is it for you to push yourself on days that you just don't want to do it?
I mean, there are those moments where you're like, I just don't want to do it. But then for me, I know that there's someone watching, whether it's my kids or a friend or a coworker who will ask me, like, what'd you do? And if I know that I'm going to be saying nothing, they're going to be like, wait a minute, why not? So like this morning, I hit snooze, which I normally don't do, and I did not want to get up, but I knew that I would feel better as soon as I did. So went to the gym, ran my 2.5 miles, and sure enough, it's like I walked out and I was like, thank goodness I did that. Like I needed that. Being, here in the Carolinas, running outside isn't always enjoyable. The humidity definitely gets you, but just, going on a treadmill, even sometimes it's just, I cranked up my music and got it done and then got my day going.
Nice.
So Melissa, would you think that as the leadership role that you have within your company, that the exercise and the mental routines that you follow, obviously you're doing it for yourself, which we should always do, is take care of ourselves first, but do you look at it as a leadership obligation for your team and your company?
It's one of those roles as leadership of setting the tone, setting the stage, leading by example. And so my hope is that if I continue to show up for myself while also giving tips and tricks on things that I have found to be successful, if I can influence just one person, whether it's one person a day, one person a week, then I've done something. And so I look at the team, I have team members that are closer and others, that are spread out and far away, but just being able to impact one of them, I feel accomplished in that regard. And so whether it's just saying the right thing to where it did put a smile on their face, or, I've had employees tell me like, hey, I've started a workout routine because of you, or I'm now meditating. Then, that's beneficial to them, but then also the organization as a whole, because if managers and anyone else in the company has that better frame of mind, then your productivity levels and your, willingness to do different things just skyrockets.
100%.
What do you think with so I've been in your office and have met Todd Mosley and Mandy, and the vibe in your office is it's electric. All management companies, have a different feel, a different flair to them. So the association with Real Manage and in the consolidation of some of the operations, how has that been going?
It's part of any transition period. It's, kind of a phased approach. And so still, everyone's just kind of getting to know the different team members and where the opportunities lie. So, we've started to join in on more of the Real Manage meetings and trainings and their depth of resources. And so that way we can start seeing where the opportunities are. So I'm excited on where that'll go throughout the rest of this year.
Yeah, and I'm definitely excited to be moving into one of your managed communities called Venetian Bay in New Smyrna Beach.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so I'm going to get a firsthand account of what it's like to be in one of your communities. I'm excited about it.
You'll have to keep me posted. Let me know.
Oh, I will most definitely.
So we do have to take care of a little business. So Real Manage and Evergreen is our sponsors today. And also ECI, which takes care of asbestos in South Florida, Robert Lozano. So those are our sponsors for today's show. So we do this little thing. All of our sponsors are completely made up. There's but I always like to, put some plugs in there, one way or the other. Not plugs like I have up here, but no, people go, really? Did he do that? But we're out of time, but you have definitely made it a wonderful introduction. I think it's inspiring to see people do things for others as opposed to people doing things just for themselves. And
Absolutely.
you definitely seem to be one of those people, and it's a pleasure to meet you this way.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
And, Melissa, to Kelly's point, it's fun how utilizing some forms of social media, such as LinkedIn, which is what I love, and it's the only form of social media I use because it's all business, about how, you don't even know the people that you influence. You and I are a connection on LinkedIn. But then when I saw you at National, I was excited to meet you and introduce myself to you and tell you that you're an inspiration to me. So keep it up, because there are a lot of people out there that you don't even know that could be depending on you. Okay.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate that. And conference this last year was one of those where I didn't realize the number of people I was reaching until actually getting to meet people face to face. So it was great.
Wonderful. Well, again, thank you for being a most gracious guest. We'll be putting
Thank
this
you.
up on LinkedIn, and I believe Kelly will put it up on forum, or on Facebook. So take a look at it. And again, I
He doesn't even know
appreciate.
what it's called.
Yeah, Facebook. I don't even know what it's. I don't even. It's hard
Yeah.
for me to even say Facebook. But
What's the one that was before Facebook?
Oh my gosh, I was reminded of this the other day. MySpace.
MySpace.
MySpace. Yeah. We're gonna be putting it up on MySpace.
Right. That's funny. But again, Melissa, I will see you down the road, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Have
All right.
a wonderful day. Thanks.
right.
Bye.